How you all doing, guys? Welcome back to Retro Dodo and welcome back to another top 10 best list. This time we are covering the almighty PSP and going through what is my personal top 10 PSP games of all time. Let's jump in. Coming in at number 10 is Valkyria Chronicles II, launched in 2010. Sega rarely disappoints when it comes to games, and Valkyria Chronicles II is no exception. Gamers everywhere felt a sense of panic when the PS3 sequel was announced for the PSP, but they needn't have worried. This game stays true to the series and carries on from where Valkyria Chronicles left off perfectly. Set in 1939 EC and 2 years after the Second European War, this title revolves around a group of cadets from a military academy, and their missions is to prevent a bunch of rebels from carrying out a terrible ethnic cleansing plot. VC2 is a little like the love child of Time Crisis and Final Fantasy combined. Shooting alone won't get you to the end of the level, it takes cunning and planning to get through each of the levels unscathed. All 5 classes and the original Blitz combat system feature from the original game, as well as new, never before seen classes and abilities that you can discover as you progress through the game. If you like the sound of a turn-based shoot-'em-up that requires teamwork and a mind for strategy, then this game is one to give a bash. Number 9. Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, launched in 2007. Yes, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core for the PSP is one of the greatest titles that we've ever had the pleasure of playing, and having such a well-known name and the accompanying rich and exciting fantasy realm that goes with it in the palm of your hands is something else entirely. Crisis Core married role-playing features that we know and love from previous Final Fantasy titles, with real-time combat in open-world areas, usually kicking monster butt and generally being a boss with big weapons and magical abilities. What's not to love? Join Soldier's very own Zack Fair as he makes his way through the Final Fantasy universe in search of his fellow missing soldier, Genesis Rhapsodus, while helping the Shinra war effort. It's a lot for one guy to take on, but you can gain help from other characters throughout the game and obtain materia to upgrade abilities as you progress. This game is set 7 years before Final Fantasy VII and ends just before the start of said game. It sold well, over 3 million copies in fact, and has secured itself as one of the best PSP games of all time. I can't describe to you how amazing this title is, just buy a copy because you have to play it for yourself to believe it. Number 8. Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, launched in 2006. What is better than stealing cars, shooting bad guys, and generally being a badass gangster while sitting on your sofa at home? Doing all of the above on a bus, in the park, or on a plane, that's what. Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories takes all of the best bits that we love from the console classic version and enhances them in a way that shouldn't be physically possible for such a small and technologically limited console like the PSP. That's not me being unkind at all. This console shouldn't be able to do some of the things that it does, and one of them is to make games like Vice City Stories look so damn good and have so many smooth and well mapped out features. Playing this game is an absolute joy, and I'm very pleased that me and the Retro Dodo team all agreed on its inclusion in our best PSP games list. Vice City Stories is the 10th game in the GTA series and one of the last to use famous voiceovers for its main characters. This prequel to Vice City sees Gary Busey, Louis Guzman, Philip Michael Thomas and Danny Trejo reprise their roles from previous games from the very last time, making it a must-have for any nostalgic gamer who holds on to the past with a Vice-like grip. Do you see what I did there? Vice-like grip, yeah. Vice City Stories really shows what the PSP is capable of, and it is a feat of games engineering for this tiny, portable console. 7. Syphon's Filter, Logan's Shadow, which launched in 2007. This is the last title in the Syphon Filter series, and it both plays and looks like a home console title. Sony has brought a lot of stealth shooters to its various consoles over the year, and Syphon Filter was always one of my favourites. Enemies react realistically to gunfire too, providing users with a much more immersive adventure. Players control Gabe Logan as they work their way through this third-person title. With new game mechanics such as improved strafing and blind firing around corners, it's certainly one of the most advanced Syphon filter games and one to end the series on a high. If you're a fan of Call of Duty or Splinter Cell, then Logan's Shadow is definitely the game for you. Critics loved it back in the day, and we're confident that you'll find it hard to put down from the moment that you switch it on. 6. Secret Agent Clank, launched in 2008. James Bond meets Inspector Gadget in the next title on our best PSP games list, and it's another game that features a member of a famous duo going solo. If you're into games like Banjo-Kazooie and of course Ratchet & Clank, then you'll be right at home with Secret Agent Clank. This game combines all of the features and gameplay that you loved from the original Ratchet & Clank universe. It might be a spin-off, but it's jam-packed full of familiar faces that you will encounter as the game goes on. Whereas before, when Ratchet was the main playable character and Clank was used to solve puzzles, our robotic secret agent friend now has the limelight and can be moved freely in an adventure of his own. His tuxedo has a number of secret gadgets that Clank can use on his quest, and rhythmic sections where the player has to press a series of buttons to sneak past enemies will test even the most advanced gamer's skills. You can also play as Ratchet and Captain Quark, and the gadget bots also make an appearance. Looks like the whole gang is back together once again. 5. Castlevania The Dracula X Chronicles, launched in 2007. I was hooked on Castlevania when I brought it from my classic Game Boy, but having a colour version with kick-ass monsters and far richer environments to wander through trumps my old two-tone version every time. Castlevania is one of those gaming titles that have and always will withstand the test of time, and Castlevania The Dracula X Chronicles provides gamers with a solid adventure title in a world where nothing is as it seems. This game is a 2.5D remake of the classic title Rondo of Blood, where the player moves the one and only Richter Belmont through the dungeons and grimy castle scenes in search of his beloved Annette. Extra games can be unlocked as you progress through the story, but will you succeed in fulfilling the job that Belmont Clan have set out to accomplish, killing the eternally powerful Dracula, who has a habit of resurrecting every time there's a new Castlevania game? It's a gripping title from start to finish, and one that definitely needs to be on every list of the best PSP games. 4. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, which launched in 2010. Any game that features manga-style fighting characters and Mickey Mouse is going to rank highly because of its sheer absurdity, which is why Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep takes number 4 on this list. This action RPG differs from other games of the same ilk due to its hack-and-slash qualities, making it a great title if you just want to let off a little bit of steam at the end of the day. This game has so many Disney references and locations inside it that you might be forgiven for thinking that you were playing Castle of Illusion, and is a great title for anyone who might be new to gaming or a general RPG all-rounder. Mickey stars as the ruler of Disney Castle and a Keyblade apprentice to the sorcerer Yen Sid. Donald and Goofy can be found in this game too, but the main stars are the other 3 people on the game case: Terra, Aqua, and Ventus. The story is far too complicated for me to explain in just a short video, but you can expect a mysterious and colourful world made up from your favourite Disney locations such as the 100-acre wood, Neverland, and the mysterious tower from Fantasia. Honestly, if you thought the concept of Patapon 3 was nuts, then give Kingdom Hearts a go. It's so bizarre, but it kind of works perfectly. 3. Tekken 6, launched in 2009. Every console needs a fighting franchise, but none will ever be as gnarly or as famous as Tekken. Bigger stages with hidden areas that you can carry on fighting in are a new feature to Tekken 6, as well as customizable characters and the exciting new rage system which causes more damage per hit. Just when you thought Tekken couldn't get any better, eh? All of your favourite characters make a return for Tekken 6, including Yoshimitsu, Brian Fury, Nina Williams, and Raven. Tekken will always be one of the best PSP games for its playability and the fact that it's so easy to pick up and play. Yes, it helps if you know how to do some of the special moves, but I've won plenty of battles by mashing any button in sight while screaming a victory chant and chewing a sandwich all at the same time. If you're gonna have a fighting game on a portable console, then make sure it's Tekken. 2. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, launched in 2010. The last two titles on our list of the best PSP games were tough to place, but we had to make a well-rounded decision, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker came in a very respectable second. Every console has its key players. Link for Nintendo, Sonic for Sega, and in my opinion, Solid Snake and his Papa Big Boss have always been the PlayStation's signature characters. Sure, Spyro and Crash Bandicoot made their mark, but did they tie a band around their head and snoop around shooting bad guys like a super smooth mother? No, they did not. This action-adventure stealth shooter grips you from the very first cutscene and features many of the same features that made Metal Gear Solid 4 such an incredible game. Search held-up soldiers, shoot over-shoulder camera view, and the crouch walk all make a comeback, along with new features and customizable uniforms such as jungle fatigue and sneaking suit. If you've ever played Mission Impossible on the N64 but wish it could be a bit more like GoldenEye, then you'll be all over Peace Walker like a Chuck Norris style rash. The only question is whether you'll be able to put it down once you start playing. And finally, number 1 on our list goes to God of War Ghost of Sparta, which launched in 2010. This game has some of the best post-apocalyptic feels of any game we've ever played on a handheld, and perfectly incorporates elements of Greek mythology into the mix. Control Kratos and the Blades of Athena in this combo combat action-adventure game, battling minotaurs, gorgons, harpies, and more. I've got chills just thinking about it, in all honesty. This hack and slash title also features some pretty tricky puzzles that you need to overcome if you are to progress through the levels. The bosses are big, the worlds are fantastic, and the gameplay is second to none. Will you unlock the arms of Sparta and Thera's Bane, or will the God of Death overcome Kratos and stop him in his quest? If you like your history with a mix of bloodthirsty battles and button mashing fun, then Ghost of Sparta is the go-to. As per usual, thank you for watching these videos. We have a lot more best lists on our channel if you're interested in checking out our best games for other retro consoles, and be sure to check out our website if you like it all in written form. Catch you in the next one.